A major source of inspiration in my work and life in general is Shigesato Itoi's Mother series. I assume that anyone who would have thought to look at this video doesn't need an introduction. I will note, however, that I'll be talking about spoilers and that I would hate to deny anyone the chance to play the Mother series blind. So please don't watch this first if you have any plans to play through the series in the future. The Mother games are wonderful and not to be missed, particularly Mother 3. Do not let the sin of denying you this experience be on my hands. That's your warning. I want to address something that I've never seen discussed anywhere else. I do not claim to be the first person to notice this, only that I'm aware of no one else. Pollyanna is probably the most well-known piece of music from the Mother series. As the original Mother's music was composed by Hirokazu Tanaka and Keiichi Suzuki both, I don't know who wrote it, or if both of them did. I also am not sure who wrote the lyrics. Even so, it is of great significance to the Mother series. It is named, of course, after Eleanor H. Porter's 1913 children's novel, whose protagonist, Pollyanna, plays the glad game for seeing the bright side of life and thereby improves the lives of some adults in her community. Pollyanna has since become a word for someone who is naively optimistic, even though that wasn't the novel's message. Despite its popularity with the fans, the song Pollyanna plays only a few times in the Mother series. Pollyanna, I Believe in You is the first overworld theme in Mother. A small portion of it plays when Ness leaves Porky's house and the sun rises over Wannette in Mother 2, marking the beginning of his adventure. It also plays in Ness's house. And the full melody returns again in Mother 3 when the protagonists sail through Porky's Hall of Memories. The original album release of Mother's soundtrack featured Pollyanna with rather charming lyrics sung by Catherine Warwick.
I believe the morning sun always gonna shine again, and I believe a pot of gold waits at every rainbow's end.
The singer talks about her optimism and how this compels her to believe in you. We also see why the title is Pollyanna.
You may say I'm a fool, even the way that I do. You can call me Pollyanna, say I'm crazy as a loon. I believe in silver linings, and that's why I believe in you.
I used to think this song was so upbeat it was outright saccharine, but then I considered the lyrics more carefully. There is actually something rather dark hidden in here. The singer cynically says that fairy tales are as far-fetched as people keeping promises, and the title implies not just optimism, but naive optimism. Further, the singer believes in you because
I believe in silver linings, and that's why I believe in you. I believe a dream can still come true. Why shouldn't I believe the same in you? I believe in second chances, and that's why I believe in you.
the point is, whomever the lyrics are addressing has given reason in the past not to believe in them. The singer believes in them against reason because she thinks that they have a silver lining and because she offers second chances. As for how this might be relevant to the original Mother, Ninten encounters a number of instances of pointless corruption and cruelty. Goodman, the mayor of Ninten's hometown, is the first person to give Ninten clear direction on his quest, first to rescue Pippi from the zombie gangsters, and then to investigate the zoo. But Goodman is a corrupt politician who, as it turns out, is exploiting Ninten. He only wants to do this to gain popularity with the public. He takes credit for Ninten's good deeds, doesn't repay him for his troubles, and in fact laughs him out of his office. Besides this, Ninten deals with kids bullying Lloyd, cops searching for criminals and failing to catch them, the violent Black Blood Gang, etc. Of course, the ultimate betrayal of trust in Mother occurred long before Ninten's journey. Geeg, or Gigas if you prefer, seems to have viewed George as a father, but George stole the technology of Geeg's people to gain PK and PSI, then escaped the Starmen, apparently abandoning his wife and Geeg both. But despite all this, Ninten and his friends retain a faith in friendship and love. Anna doesn't really face much discrimination, but Lloyd was bullied for years because of his genius-level intelligence, but remains positive and hopeful anyway. They even weed this faith in human goodness from Teddy, the violent gang leader who has become depressed and turned to alcohol after his parents' deaths, and whose henchmen are running wild without his supervision. Geeg, the calculating mastermind behind the alien invasion, also secretly retains a faith in humanity despite his experiences with George. Ninten, Anna, and Lloyd defeat Geeg because they maintain their faith in humanity and each other, and by performing the 8 melodies even as Geeg attempts to kill them, remind Geeg of his own faith, of the love that his mother Maria gave to him. In Mother 2, a few notes of Pollyanna are featured as Ness sets out on his journey, probably just as a callback to the original. It might also be intended to suggest a parallel between Ness's journey to stop Geeg and Ninten's, given the many peculiar similarities between them. I mentioned Mayor Goodman earlier. Goodman has an almost identical role in Mother as Perkle, Mayor of Wanette, has in Mother 2, and that's just one similarity. The full melody of Pollyanna, under the title of Home Sweet Home, also plays inside Ness's house and inside Paula's. Although Paula's connection to her family doesn't come up so much, Ness's connection to his family is emphasized throughout his adventure through this bizarre, wacky, and usually dirty, corrupt world, as his sister stores items for him, his father saves his game, and his mother prevents him from becoming homesick, which is itself telling of his connection to them and of the power of familial love. In Mother 3, Pollyanna, titled A Certain Someone's Memories in Mado's translation, appears again. Near the end of Mother 3, as the protagonists travel through the bizarre Empire Porky building, a room immediately preceding Porky's chamber features a boat ride past a selection of characters and items from Mother 2. Dungeon Man, Tessie, Ness's bicycle, the Sky Runner, etc. Notably, when we consider Porky's backstory, the gallery ends with the phase distorter and the organic machine Porky piloted in the ending of Mother 2. Okay, so these actually are not the last things. They come right before the white and black poppy seeds who were in love in Mother 2. The seeds are united now, giving us a happy ending to their story, carrying on the theme of love, and ending the gallery with a minor joke. As Boney, Lucas, Kumatora, and Duster ride the boat through this room, Pollyanna plays. Obviously, this is a callback to the previous installments of the series, especially given that the room before the Hall of Memories features Mother Earth, the title theme from Mother. However, none of the characters in the scene know the significance of any of the objects they're passing. The certain someone referred to in the title of the song refers to Porky, but it also refers to the player and his or her own memories of their journey through the Mother series. The context of this scene, though, makes it pretty disturbing. In his travels through time, Porky has stolen all of these items that were significant to Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh, or kidnapped and perhaps killed them in the case of Dungeon Man and Tessie. Moreover, Pollyanna now seems much too optimistic for Mother 3. Mother 3 is the story of how humanity abandons community, family, nature, love, and everything important in exchange for the short-term gratification that inevitably leads to their deaths. Humanity is so inclined towards self-annihilation that Earth has already been destroyed, except for the islands on which Mother 3 takes place. Porky has herded his entire army and the island's population, the last humans, into New Pork City, what is essentially a death camp where he can finish the job. The supposed utopia is only a bunch of carnival attractions on top of a pile of garbage. In New Pork City comes the culmination of the process that begun when the people of the Nowhere Islands began to buy into the Pigmask's ideas. Here the people become totally isolated from their community, their families, lost sight of everything important in life, their individuality, their love, their friendship, and finally, of each other. Yet, here we have a song about eternal hope and survival. I believe in friends and laughter and the wonders love can do. It seems that, in this context, Pollyanna is bitterly ironic. I acknowledge that all this might be unintentional on the developer's part, but unplanned meaning is meaning all the same. So who is the singer addressing? Who does she believe in despite having reason not to? You may have already guessed. Humanity. The original Mother is about Ninten embarking into a cynical, exploitative world, which is goofy, sure, but still cynical and exploitative. But not losing faith in his mission or his friends. They defeat Geeg by reminding him of the good of humanity. Ninten, Anna, Lloyd, and Teddy, especially Lloyd and Teddy, have ample reason to believe people are bad, Lloyd from his years of bullying, and Teddy from his gang life and his parents' pointless deaths. But the good is ultimately brought out in them all, and even in the apparently cold and unfeeling alien leader, Geeg. Mother 2 largely carries on the themes of the original Mother. Mother 3 is about the corrupting influences of modern capitalist society on the community, the family, and the environment, and takes the cynical themes of the previous games down a far darker path. Humans are powerless against death and the forces of change, easily made to forget what's important in life for short-term material satisfaction, and are perhaps inclined to naturally and cyclically destroy themselves as they destroyed the world once before. But Pollyanna isn't only cynical, any more than Mother is. The reason that Lucas, Kumatora, Duster, and Boney are heroes is that, in spite of overwhelming evidence that it is futile to try, they never give up on their quest to stop the Pigmasks. They believe humanity can be saved. Porky is the villain because he doesn't, and spends the whole story using his resources not to help people, but only to demonstrate the vast potential and scale of human sin. Maybe he's right, since the ending is pretty ambiguous. Yet, I don't think so. Ninten, Ness, Lucas, and the rest of their allies are good people. Not everyone's bad. After all, brute force doesn't stop Porky. No matter how many victories the heroes score over the Pigmasks in battle, the Pigmasks win the war. It is a lack of love that turned Porky into the monster he is, because of his abusive, selfish, and materialistic parents. And it is love, not violence, that finally stops Geeg and, later, the ruthless, robot-like Masked Man. And thematically, since I'm considering the Mother trilogy as a whole, it is far more in fitting with Mother and Mother 2 for Mother 3 to fiercely challenge the theme of human goodness, but finally ask us to believe in friends and laughter and the wonders love can do. Some might say this theme is sort of naive, and perhaps it is, but I think that video games need more of these kinds of positive, optimistic ideas. This has been Mackerel Phones.